Hey there, welcome back to my channel. It's your everydayness, Abby. So we are continuing our series on depression. In our previous discussion, we learned about the causes of depression, where we got to know about how substance abuse, how biochemical imbalances in the brain, how family history of depression, and many others can lead one to developing a mental condition. Visit my previous video for more insight into the causes of depression. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and share for more content on depression. So now let's get into today's video. Today we are going to talk about how normal sadness is different from depression. We want to draw the thin line between when someone is going through a normal sadness and when someone is feeling depressed, which is a mental condition. So we know that normal sadness is a human emotion that we feel at certain times in our lives. Feeling sad is a natural phenomenon or a natural situation when something causes us pain or when we feel emotionally unstable or emotionally upset. And there are varying degrees of sadness. However, like other emotions, it's only for a limited period of time and then it fades away. That is all about the normal sadness when we go through situations that are difficult. Example could be losing a job, losing a loved one, having financial crisis, going through so many things that are unpleasant. It can cause us to have sadness, but for a period of time. When it comes to depression on the other hand is a longer term mental illness that not only affects our emotions but also impairs our social, occupational, and other important areas of functioning or of our lives. So socially, you are not able to relate well with others. When it comes to occupation, you are not able to work well or effectively. And when it comes to academics, you're not able to learn as you should, or you're not able to put up great inputs as you should. So those are the places it impairs. So now let's move on to the differences between normal sadness and depression. So we'll be considering certain areas or certain things that draws a thin line between when someone is feeling sad and when someone is depressed, which is a mental condition. So the first thing to consider is the duration. Duration. That is the time space, the duration. So when it comes to normal sadness, we become sad for a short period of time. When you lose a loved one, when you are going through financial crisis, it doesn't impair things that you do. It is only for a shorter period of time. Then you come back again and then you look at positive ways to work around things or how you can manage things or solve the problem at hand or how you can get over this emotion. However, when it comes to depression, the duration is from 2 weeks or more. If you are sad, if there is profound sadness for about 2 weeks and it's continuing without any improvement, then we can say there is the likelihood of you having depression instead of a normal sadness. The second thing to consider is activity. Activity, when it comes to activity, that is going about your daily activities, maintaining your hygiene, going about interest, things that you used to enjoy. So when it comes to normal sadness, even though you are sad, you are able to go about your daily activities. You may feel reluctant for a while, but you bounce back into doing those activities. You maintain your hygiene, that is looking good. You are able to engage in those interests that you have, playing those games, reading that book, watching a movie, doing something that is of interest. However, when it comes to depression, the person is not able to go about certain daily activities. The person will just shut himself out, not doing anything at all. Simple things like maintaining a personal hygiene, the person will neglect it. Brushing the teeth or bathing or doing petty things, the person will neglect them all. And then the person will lose interest in previously enjoyed activities. If the person was the outgoing type, the person just goes off just like that. And the person does not, if the person is into movies or playing games, reading and all that, It ceases because the person loses interest in previously enjoyed activities. So the next thing to talk about is emotions. Emotions. So that is sadness. When it comes to normal sadness, the person will feel sad, but there isn't feeling of guilt, hopelessness, helplessness, even to the point of committing suicide. When it comes to depression, there is profound sadness, there is irritability, there are other emotions, and here the person has the feeling of guilt, the person has the feeling of hopelessness, helplessness. The person, if it's in the case of a diseased person or losing a loved one, the person even blames himself of killing the person who is diseased, and would even go to the point of doing something bad to harm him or herself. When it comes to thoughts of maybe not being loved or not being cared for, the person feels like he is alone in this world. There is no one loving them, even though the family gives him or her the support he or she needs and all that. But the person feels like there is nothing more to do, and that the only thing he or she has to do is to end his or her life. So the next thing we'll be considering is social interaction. So when it comes to normal sadness, when someone is sad, the person is able to relate with other people. Even if the person will ignore family and loved ones, it would only be for a shorter period of time, but it is not a total neglect. Even the person will wish to have people around him or her to give that emotional support, to show that love and care and all that. But when it comes to depression, the person shuts everybody out. Even though when you are giving the person love, the person feels nobody loves him or her. So the person will shut himself out, stay indoor all the time, will not interact with anyone, will not go out to do anything. The person just locks himself in the room and cries all the time, or pity himself and then wallow in his sadness and pity and all that. So that is it when it comes to social interaction. The person becomes withdrawn and neglects the family or loved ones. Now, the next thing to talk about is nutrition. Nutrition. In normal sadness, when we are sad or when we are feeling down, we still eat. Yes, no matter how long it takes, we eat. We don't say we will not eat or something. The person might be reluctant to eat or might say he or she is not hungry and will not eat, but not for the whole day. It will get to a point that the person would eat eventually. But when it comes to depression, the person will either eat a lot. The person will eat so much that is above normal. The person will eat a lot. The person becomes obsessed over food, and the person will eat so much. And on the other hand, when the person is not eating, the person doesn't eat at all. The person doesn't eat at all, and then it affects the person's weight. The person will lose weight drastically, or the person will gain weight and become overweight. That is when it's with depression, when the person is diagnosed of major depression. The next thing to talk about is self-esteem. Self-esteem. In normal sadness, we become sad, but we do not lose our confidence. We do not lose ourselves. We do not lose the person we are. Our self stays intact. Our self-image, our self-perception, our self-esteem, our self-confidence stays intact. If I'm going through a difficult time or if I'm going through an emotional situation, it does not take away my self-esteem. That is a normal sadness. But when it comes to depression, the person loses his or her self-esteem. That confidence that the person used to have, it goes away. It goes away just like that. So the risk that confidence that is lost, that self-esteem that goes away from the person. So the person feels like he is nobody. There is nothing more to do in this life. He's not important. He doesn't feel that confidence in himself to do anything profitable. So that is it. The next thing to consider is thoughts of suicide. Thoughts of suicide. When it comes to normal sadness, there are thoughts of suicide. The person will fantasize about committing suicide. For example, if the person loses a loved one, the person will cry, I want to go with you, take me along with you, I want to die, but the person doesn't kill him or herself. The person dares not to do that. But when it comes to depression, there is thoughts of suicide and suicide commit suicide attempt. The person would actually go to the point of committing suicide. That is why when people are going through emotional states, they kill themselves or they do something bad to themselves just to end their life. They actually do it. They just don't think about it or fantasize about it. They actually commit the act and they will end up dying. So it's important that when we have someone going through this situation, we stay with them even when they push us away, when the person is going through actual depression, and the person, and we get to know, let's show the person some love. Let's draw closer to the person. Let's not neglect that person, because he or she can end his or her life. And we shouldn't forget, in our previous video we said that suicide has one of its cause to be depression, and it's on the rise now, and there is a need to reduce it or to prevent it if we can. That is all about the differences between normal sadness and depression. I believe we've learned so much. Meet me in the next video as we talk more and more and more about depression. See you next time. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and share for more content.